For 60 years, England have lived with one question. Can football finally come home? Every generation believed it would be the one. Every generation was left heartbroken. But in 2026, something feels different. England have stormed into the World Cup quarterfinals, and just 3 victories now stand between them and the promised land. 3 games from immortality. This is the story of a 60-year wait, a nation, a curse, and a golden generation trying at last to end it. To understand the weight England carry, you have to go back to where it began, and where somehow it also ended. The 30th of July 1966, Wembley, Sir Alf Ramsey's England against West Germany. Geoff Hurst scoring the first ever hat-trick in a World Cup final. Bobby Moore wiping the mud from his hands before lifting the trophy. England were champions of the world. Nobody knew it would be the last time. What followed was 6 decades of the cruelest heartbreak in football. Gazza's tears in '90. Beckham's red card in '98. Quarterfinal after quarterfinal. Germany again. And when hope finally returned, it faded in the semis of 2018 and died on a missed penalty in the last 8 in 2022. Twice more they came within touching distance. The Euro 2020 final at Wembley lost on penalties. The Euro 2024 final beaten by Spain. Football's coming home stopped being a song. It became a prayer, a burden passed from one generation to the next. So when England needed a new direction, they made a decision that split the nation. They handed their most sacred job to a German, Thomas Tuchel, a Champions League winner, a serial trophy hunter who doesn't deal in hope, he deals in control. Where Gareth Southgate built belief and unity, Tuchel built teeth. He inherited a squad drowning in talent but starved of a plan, a high, aggressive press, a back line that suffocates space, a midfield built to dominate. England no longer sit back and pray, they hunt. And what players they are. This may be the deepest squad England have ever assembled. It starts with Harry Kane, the captain, the country's greatest ever goalscorer, chasing the one prize that has always eluded him. Beside him, Jude Bellingham, the fearless heartbeat who plays like the stage was built for him. On the wings, Bukayo Saka and Phil Foden. Cole Palmer, ice in his veins. Declan Rice, the shield. John Stones, the calm, and Jordan Pickford, a shootout specialist, for a nation that knows that pain too well. Talent has never been England's problem. This time, the chemistry feels different. This feels less like a collection of stars, and more like a team. And the tournament has proved it. Fate handed England the cruelest opening night, Croatia, the very side that broke English hearts in the semi-finals of 2018. This time, there was no collapse. Kane struck twice. Bellingham announced himself, 4-2. The ghost of Russia laid to rest in the very first game. A grinding, goalless night against Ghana followed. A game England didn't win but refused to lose. Then 2-0 against Panama. Group L, England, top and unbeaten. In the round of 32, Kane dragged them through again. Another brace, 2-1 over the Democratic Republic of Congo. And then the round of 16. The night everything changed. Mexico City, the Estadio Azteca, 7,000 feet above sea level, over 80,000 hostile voices. The co-hosts standing in England's way in the most iconic stadium in football, and England won it. 3-2. On the ground where English dreams once died, this generation refused to die. So why do so many now believe this is England's year? Because they have everything a champion needs. Squad depth, tactical flexibility, a defense that has barely been breached, a midfield that controls the tempo, and leaders who have felt this pain before and refuse to feel it again. The doubts are small but real, a big game nerve that has failed them before. The eternal question of whether England can win the moment that truly matters. But this team gives fewer reasons to doubt than any in a generation. For the first time in a long time, England don't just believe, they convince. 60 years of waiting, 60 years of heartbreak, and now England stand just 3 victories from the summit, playing the best football of their lives, a nation daring quietly to dream again. Maybe this really is the year football comes home. But standing between England and history is another golden generation, Norway. For the first time in 28 years, the Vikings have returned, and they did not come to make up the numbers. Led by the unstoppable Erling Haaland, orchestrated by Martin Odegaard, driven by Sander Berge and Patrick Borg, in the round of 16 they didn't just beat the 5-time world champions Brazil, they outpassed them, outfought them, and knocked them out. This is a team that believes it belongs. On one side, a nation chasing a ghost for 60 years. On the other, a generation writing its very first chapter. 2 golden generations, 1 place in the semi-finals. Only one dream survives. For 60 years, England have searched for a moment to define a generation. Now that moment stands in front of them. But history doesn't remember the teams that almost changed everything. It remembers the ones who finally did. The question is, can football finally come home? If you enjoyed this documentary, subscribe for more cinematic football stories. And tell us in the comments, do you believe England can finally end 60 years of heartbreak?